What's good? What's good? What's good?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Ain't nothing. Another day, another dollar,
Yeah, I don't know about $1, but yeah, another day, most definitely.
another day. Trying to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Yeah, I got that at least.
Yeah, I got 10 cents actually, but close enough.
Damn, we already lying? Just got on. That's sad.
Well, I'm not lying.
Well, even though we all laughing, you want to give them the premise?
Yeah, see the perfect segue.
Yes, sir.
Today's topic is well, first this is a Breaking the Narrative podcast. I'm quite sure if you've been listening, you know by now.
Yeah, most definitely.
BTN for short.
Damn, some BET and shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say BTN by like we sponsored or something, and we definitely not yet.
But, yeah,
But-
BTN podcast.
Yeah, I'm Teddy.
I'm me.
He's Tony.
Yeah, I'm me.
Tony the Michaels.
Tony the nigga. Who the fuck am I, Prince?
And
The author formerly known as Tony.
yeah. And today's topic is comedy.
Yeah.
Surprised we haven't done this.
Technically, we've done this numerous times. Like, we just never really gave it a specific title as of just comedy.
Yeah, but we've cracked millions of jokes.
Yeah, too many to count, really.
Funny stories, unlimited.
No bull. Like, just high school is just enough for an entire book.
Yeah, so yeah, comedy. We can all. There's no structure. Well, I mean, there's a structure, but we're just gonna gloss over a lot of. I guess we can do inspirations. We can do comedy shows, comedy movies, comedians. Obviously,
Yeah.
this material is just unlimited on this one.
Yeah, it is. I swear, this topic is something that it's easy to talk about because we have somewhat of like a comedic background, even though like comedy wasn't like our forefront.
Right. It's always been like an extreme hobby,
Yeah,
so to speak.
especially growing up in this area, you have to be either funny or you play sports. That's about it.
Right. So weeks ago we did the DMV, growing up in the DMV, Jonan.
Yeah,
And that was basically specifically like a comedy type of ordeal, but we didn't get into like the array lanes of comedy that we're gonna get into today.
yeah.
So first and foremost, do you have a favorite comedian?
I do. I
Okay.
do. Dave Chappelle, first and foremost. Like,
Yeah.
I have actually more than one, but you know, you gotta put someone number one. Mine would be Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
I do love comedians like I love Bernie Mac.
Love Bernie Mac.
Like R.I.P. Bernie Mac. He one of the goats by
Mhm.
far. In his I love Bernie because of his like it's just his presence.
Okay.
He has a comedic presence to where you don't want to go after him.
Right.
He has to be the last person to go. Otherwise, it's a dead show.
Right.
Because anybody that goes after him is lackluster.
Right.
And I also love him in film because he did a whole lot of improv.
Yeah.
Like, he goes off script a lot, and it fits perfectly with everything that's going on in the story.
Right.
And they leave it in because it's just perfect. It's perfection. Like, you have no other alternative but to give him that spotlight. And I love that.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I loved him so much. I also love, like, which a lot of people, I mean, they're kind of iffy on. But I have a fondness for Tony Roberts.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know who he is,
Shout out Tony Roberts.
but he's hilarious. I mean, knock your socks off, hilarious, and he just keeps going.
Okay.
He's been in like numerous stand-up specials. He has a lot of he don't have a whole bunch of like followers on like Instagram and stuff like that, but that does not diminish him in general as far as being a comedian.
Right.
And I love him. He would be at least like 4 or 5 for me.
Okay.
Because there are people ahead of him. Because people like Paul Mooney. Like you can't have a list and not respect to God like that, man.
Yeah.
You can't.
Shout out to Paul Mooney.
R.I.P. Paul Mooney, man. Like, I
Yeah.
love Paul Mooney. He's funny in a way where he doesn't intend to be funny, but he's hilarious.
Right.
It's scary, like, 'cause he writes so well.
Mm-hmm.
He's written for numerous people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are a lot of people that came from under his tutelage and jumped into superstardom as far as comedy is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be at least number 2 or number 3 on my list because, Dave Chappelle number 1. He writes all of his shit too. Right. So I gotta give respect where it's due. And let me see, as far as like 4 and 5, Tony Robbins gets at least 4 or 5. But my 5th or 4th or 5th, I'd have to go with so many people I can put in this category.
There's like a million.
It's a lot of people I can put in this category.
Yeah.
Cause I could go with like Bill Burr, but a lot of people don't know about Bill Burr, but that nigga's hilarious.
Yeah.
But
well, at the end of the day, comedy is very subjective.
It is.
Just because a lot of people don't know of him, it's not going to discredit.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But he's a white dude, and people look at him and it's like, how you gonna put a white dude in your top 5? It's like, you gotta look at his stuff. This man is amazing.
Yeah.
And then,
there's no white people in my top 5, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, but it's also people I can interchange him with though,
right?
Which is ridiculous. Like that spot is so interchangeable because there's so many people that I'm missing out on,
right?
And I know I'm missing out on. But as far as I'm concerned, like right now, that would be top 5 until like my mind is changed otherwise, which it can easily change.
Yeah.
So who would be your like top 5 comedians?
Well, first and foremost, Dave Chappelle is my favorite comedian as well.
Okay.
I would say second on the list would be Martin Lawrence.
Damn, I forgot, man. I gotta change Bill Burr for Eddie Murphy, bro. I gotta change Bill Burr for Eddie Murphy, bro.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy is number 3 on my list, followed by, I want to say, Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh man, Sid.
Yeah, and then
Chocolate Drop,
yeah,
my man.
And then my number 5, it interchanges a lot. It flip flops between Bernie Mac and D.L. Hughley because I love D.L. Hughley. Like if I could just give you 10 and then I'll be like in no particular order because that would be 5 and 6. And,
okay.
And then you would have, like I said, in no particular order. Obviously, I'm a huge Bill Bellamy fan.
Oh man, Bill Bellamy is like he's sneakily funny.
Yeah. Obviously, that's 7. Obviously, Chris Tucker.
Like,
yeah. Like I love Chris Tucker.
Chris Rock too.
Yeah, Chris Rock. And then one more. Who can I?
Well, Eddie Griffin.
Nah. Who am I? I'm missing some. I know I'm missing somebody for sure. Cat Williams.
Oh, damn, I keep forgetting about Cat too, man. There's so many people.
Yeah. So that would be like the 10 for me. But Eddie Griffin is honorable mention.
Yeah, if I had done 10, yeah.
Charlie Murphy.
Man, Charlie's hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to Charlie, bro.
Rest in peace, Charlie.
That man, hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I love Charlie Murphy. I'm not gonna lie, like we could talk about the comedy that we don't take a liking to. So I'm not a big Kevin Hart fan.
Neither am I.
Yeah, he's funny. He's funny when he's doing like random videos and he's just like being himself. He's funny. But as far as like stand-up special goes, in my opinion, he's just not that funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I swear I see that consistently, which is I liked him early on.
Yeah.
Before he just started jumping into the idea of just I'm short and that's my entire bit.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna act like a bitch and that's my entire bit.
Right.
So I can't if that's all you have really, it's like I can't do it. And also found out like he's not writing his material and shit like that. I was like I
Well,
can't.
a lot of comedians don't write like they're complete. It's the same thing as the music thing.
Yeah.
So you are penalized, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if he was funny, I would still give him more props. But I just don't feel like he's funny.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're not even writing that, but like I said, I've seen clips of like him not performing, and where it's like he's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's backstage, he's joning on people.
Oh, you talking about the little joint with Meek Mills and shit when he was joning on niggas?
Well, that one too, but it's like multiple videos. You know what I'm saying?
Cause
Like,
I mean I saw that shit and that shit wasn't funny at all. Cause coming from here, he would have got fired up.
oh yeah, of course. But that we can't penalize him because like, you know, he can't stand up to like different areas. Like we can't penalize like somebody because they not as, in basketball because they not as good as Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's funny when he's being regular or doing like comedy skits.
Yeah, doing when he's himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him, but his comedy is just like nah.
Yeah, the stand up comedy thing is like, because we grew up watching like stand up comedy like legends. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You watching Martin Lawrence, you watching Dave Chappelle, Bernie Mac, and all Steve Harvey. I didn't mention him, but you know, to a degree, he is funny. You know what I'm saying? Might be corny now, as
Definitely
far as like
corny now,
you know
bro.
on his other when he on his other type shit. But
The Steve Harvey show was one of the goats, bro.
yeah, when he on his comedy stuff, Steve Harvey's funny.
And then Monique was funny as shit too, bro. Like
Yeah.
even the females were just
Yeah, so it's like it's plenty of and then because this memory popped up on Facebook the other day, and he's not funny to me, but a lot of people love him. That's George Lopez.
we talked about that.
Yeah, and it's like,
Oh man, he called Anthony George Lopez. Every time I go back to that video, I gotta listen to that part, and that just died, bro.
yeah, and then start doing a little theme song.
Yo,
like, but you know, I guess it's a cup of tea for everybody. So he's not that funny to me, but to a lot of people he's funny. So it's like it's plenty of comedians that's just like I don't really like that. And then you have like the type of comedy where it's like they're not official comedians, but they're just like a-holes, like Will Smith, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's not a comedian, but you know you're gonna laugh like 24/7 if you watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
And shit, like those '90s sitcoms and shit. A lot of them people like was so hilarious, bro.
Yeah, off the strength of this normal, relatable stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So, as far as stand-up comedy goes, obviously I would like Dave Chappelle, Martin, and the Kings of Comedy. Obviously.
Yeah, bro.
As far as like TV show, because Martin kind of did a little of everything.
He did though.
So he had classic stand-up comedies. He had classic TV show. He had, you know, and you can still watch Martin, and you'll be crying, laughing as if you've never seen it before, and you done seen the episode 100 times.
Yep.
You know
that and like the Wayans Brothers show.
Yeah, and we didn't even and I about to say we didn't even mention the Wayans Bros. We didn't even say nothing yet about the whole family.
Oh man. Shout out to Keenan Ivory Wayans, bro.
Yeah.
He put them niggas on.
Like, the whole family is just talented.
Man.
It's because, like I said, we got time today. So, it's so much comedy to get into. Because then when you think about that family, now I'm just thinking about all the other, like, because when you said the name, it made me think of In Living Color.
Yeah.
So the classic sketch comedy show. And obviously, once I think of sketch comedy shows, I think of all that. And then that's when you bring in like Keenan and Kel, you know, the Saturday Night Live. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's so much
Man.
comedy to get into.
It is.
I want us to talk about Kenan and Kel like specifically, but we can hold off on that because before we get off these iconic legends, like, yo, how funny was the Dave Chappelle show?
Man, that took the world by storm. People did not, they were not prepared for Dave Chappelle for real.
Man,
Like how funny he really was. Like they got a chance to really let this nigga shine the way he was supposed to.
yeah,
And he was unapologetic with a lot of his comedy, which made it so much better.
right.
Because nowadays people are so sensitive, they would look at it and just be like, well, cancel culture got to get to this man. Nope. He did it in a way where even nowadays you can't cancel him. It's not possible.
Right.
I love comedians that do that. If they push the boundaries because they're not afraid of the backlash.
Yeah.
Because I remember Eddie Murphy did that when he was making Delirious and Raw. He was making fun of gay people. He called he called Mr. T. He was like, well, wouldn't it be funny if he was gay? And then he got somewhat of a little bit of backlash from that.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was like they was trying to chase him down in the middle of the airport. Like, oh my God, it's him. It's like, oh my God, that was fucking hilarious, bruh.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, like, but getting back to the whole Dave Chappelle thing, bro, comedic genius.
Yeah, it felt like every episode was like hit. No,
It was.
no miss.
Not a single episode. I can name something great from each episode.
Yeah, and
And-
it everything is just. We talk about like Dave Chappelle. It's like I'm about to say he's underrated, but it just feels like even with all that success, he still didn't get his just due. I guess because maybe at the height of the show, he took that leave. He went to Africa for a couple years
Because they try to take
right.
away.
take control.
Yeah.
Take control of the show, and he was So I just feel like everything from his style, his personality, the delivery, because I kind of feel like half of the comedy battle was delivery.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you got a good delivery, you don't even have to be like necessarily knee slapping funny.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like somebody could say something simple. Like I done heard somebody say 2 + 2 is 4, but the way he said is just that nigga wild as shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just
Like if someone say, "Well, 2 + 2 is 4," it's like someone like, "Yeah, 2 + 2 is 4," though. It's like if they say it like it's the delivery. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so it's like that's like half the battle. So he just was the complete package.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the fact that he's creative. And then it's just like, yo, all you gotta do is just put a camera on him and let him do him.
Yeah, because even in his like serious interviews and shit, people were still laughing, even though they shouldn't be.
Yeah. And that's my Bob saying that the other day. I was like, when people view you as a comedic figure, you can try to be serious, but people just take you as a joke all the time.
Yeah.
Like you made people laugh so much, they're fixing their brains to laugh.
Yep.
So even if you saying something like, yo, man, girl cheated on me, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting a divorce. Niggas laughing at the status, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you got the
wild,
comedic
Slum.
presence.
Yeah, hey, you wild as shit, Slum. Yeah. I'm like, nah, I'm getting a divorce for real. Like, y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Like, y'all laughing at my pain at this point, bro.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dave Chappelle, Charlie Murphy. I forget the other guy's name.
Well, you talking about Donnell Rollins?
Yeah, there you go. Donnell
That
Rollins.
nigga funny as shit too, bro.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He from DC.
I'm hip. Yeah, and shout out to Dave Chappelle because he's from here too.
Yeah, he is.
Maryland.
Well, yeah, he's from Maryland. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not really from DC.
And he claims Maryland, so that's cool.
So it was like I think Wanda Sykes is too.
Yeah, you know how some of us get once you hit a certain status, you go from being from Maryland to DC.
Yeah.
So shout out to them, man. Obviously from the show, the Prince skit is like my favorite.
Bro, that game blouses.
Yeah. Like Dave Chappelle and Charlie Murphy was just like.
And like, how important was Charlie Murphy to the show though?
Yeah, he's very, very like that. He's very like because without him, it felt like it had been missing something.
Yeah,
As funny as Dave was, he needed them complimentary pieces like that.
that's 100% true, bro.
Because he was another one where his delivery was just he had a stern, serious voice, but he's telling you this bogus story. Not even a bogus story because the story's true, but he's telling you this wild story of like him and his peoples playing against Prince and just the word and the terminology that niggas is using. Like, how about you and your friends versus me and the revolution? You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying. And he talk about they get to the basketball court and they showing up with the same stuff they had on in the club. He was just like he Goro.
He Zorro and shit.
Zorro, yeah. And, the ruffles and the fit and all that.
Hey, bro, that shit was hilarious. They were sitting there dancing. Then they had the black background, so it just like it was like real ominous darkness.
Right.
Just a center stage of just them playing basketball. It was oh my god.
Just the little
setting the fruity picks.
Yeah. The little ad lib jokes. And,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like. Damn, Prince, it's pretty hot out here. You got a towel or something? And why don't you purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka? You know?
Oh,
good. Good. In your face, Charlie Murphy. Like, no, yeah,
good hustle.
Yeah.
I'm not on your team.
just incorporating like all that little stuff. You know what I'm saying? Shoot the J.
Shoot it. Yo.
Yeah.
It's like their comedy was just it was so well put together.
Well put together.
Like, and then you have so many great creative comedic minds.
Yeah.
They actually had Bill Burr on that show writing with him too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Bill Burr was the one who did like a lot of the skits. Remember, like, he was normally like the white dude doing like the interviews and shit.
Yeah.
Or not even just the interviews, or he would do like the broadcast and shit, like the racial draft.
Yeah, yeah.
He was one of the broadcasters for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Did the same thing with the World Series of Dice.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a good one too. Well, they all just so.
Yo,
I'm almost crying now just talking about the Little Prince. You know,
that's
like it just doesn't get old. You know?
like how iconic was like that second season though.
Yeah, it was
The Rick James skit, the Prince skit, the World Series of Dice with Ashley Larry. Like that put Donnell Rollins on the map for real. Like niggas knew him as Ashley Larry before they knew him as Donnell Rollins.
Facts. Was the Jones with the puppets? Was that the second
season?
Yeah. Well, that's the one that had Snoop Dogg and and Q-Tip. Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, they had the little songs and shit playing, bro. Oh, dirty motherfucker.
Yeah. Talk about doing drugs and catching diseases.
Yeah.
The nigga was singing a song, but because he had shot up, he passed out like halfway through the little the word he was singing.
Oh man.
It's like he said something, and he was trying to hold the little note, and while he was holding the note, he passed out. and then when they started talking, he like woke back up and finished the note off.
And he was foaming at the mouth. And it's all drugs too fast. Me. Hey, yo, I couldn't breathe, bro. I couldn't breathe, bro.
Oh, this is like 16 years ago. I'm still crying. That's crazy.
Yo,
yeah, that's what it was.
Then the fucking STDs fucking came in there, and crabs and gonorrhea and shit.
The crabs, your pubes will
grab. We wait on bed sheets and toilet seats. We'll pinch your nuts with our feet.
Hello, Dave Chappelle. Haven't seen you in a while.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Son. It was like they turned Sesame Street into something that was so iconically toxic.
Yeah, talk. That's what it was. Cause they even had the little Grouch, the trash can dude.
Yeah. Oh,
that was Charlie Murphy. That was his character.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that skit. Like it had me dying, bro.
Like you said, the second season was. That's otherworldly.
Remember when he introduced Lil Jon?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Lil Jon, the one that was on crack.
You talking? Hold on, what? No, because I know which one you talking about. That's that one.
That was second season.
Nah, Tyrone was first season.
Oh, okay.
Tyrone Biggums was first season.
And the other, the blind dude that thought he was white.
That was first season.
First season too.
Yeah.
Now it's all just running. It's all just running. Even though it's still funny, it's all just running together.
And that's the Lil Jon. He also did the little his trip to China and shit. And he was Godzilla.
Yeah.
Bruh. That Blackzilla.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Even the third season when he was gone because he wasn't hosting it, but they had you could tell they had pre-recorded skits.
Mm-hmm.
The joke with Tupac.
Yep.
Yeah. Like how your man died a long time ago, but his song still be super relevant though.
Yeah.
Everything
the song a long time ago.
Right. Back in '94.
Hey yo. This wanna be your spot like CJ from San Andreas.
Right. Your man was in the club like, huh?
Oh man.
At the end, he's like, all right, rest in peace, Tupac. Okay,
yeah, will. Oh,
yeah. Shout out to Dave Chappelle, man. Like,
man, because that whole process of writing this shit, it was him, Bill Burr, and I think Neil was a part of that whole writing process. And when I tell you, bro, like that shit was gold, bro. Like every episode. Remember gold. The Real World?
Yeah,
bruh.
That line. You know what? You know what's crazy? Because when did the Dave Chappelle show come out? Was that like 2003?
Yeah, some shit.
The first season.
Yeah.
When I was when we was younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
After watching the Kings of Comedy, I didn't think comedy would get no bigger than that.
Yeah.
Like you thought, especially how they used to call it the Kings of Comedy.
Yeah.
And those were like the four. Like, well,
back then.
Even though I'm a huge D.L. Hughley fan, he may or may not could have been interchanged out with somebody else as the fourth member of the Kings of Comedy. Even though I'm a huge fan of his, it would have been, I felt, even though he gave a classic performance too, though.
Yeah, I think if Robin Harris was still alive, he probably would have taken that spot.
Or something, yeah. So, like, stuff like, because one thing I do love about D.L. Hughley that made me a big fan of his is he's like one of the only comedians where he'll joan on niggas in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's like one of his go-to things.
Yeah, and that was the same thing with Robin Harris. Robin Harris was on a nigga in the crowd.
So, not too many comedians would do that. Like I should look at it as like freestyling, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, hey, let me take a break from my little script and just
Bruce do that shit too.
Yeah. Shout out to Bruce, by the way. Yeah. So, you just saying your little monologue and then out of nowhere, because it relates to like us in school so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like like the improv would just. Yeah, but look at my son over here, though. You know what I'm saying? And imagine you just being on stage doing that, like in the middle of a show. Like,
yeah.
Bro,
the whole time. A lot of people from this area and shit, I learned, like, comedians, like, they'll branch off and just start talking about people in the crowd because that's what we grew up on.
Right.
Because you see comedians, like, Martin used to do shit like that.
Yeah.
And then you see, like, R.I.P. Tyler Craig did shit like that. A lot of people don't know who Tyler Craig is. He's like hilarious comedian and shit. He's been on numerous like stand-up specials, not stand-up specials, but he's been on stand-up like shows and shit, and has killed it. And it's just even like some of the people that are like just branching out and shit. You see, people like fucking Pap and shit. Pap's doing that shit. He does the same shit. Like when when he does stand up and shit, like he does that.
Nowadays is to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
It's more. I feel like nowadays because we're like accustomed to that. It's more easier to do that than because not a lot of people do it the other way now. Mm-hmm. Even though they do stand up comedy, a lot of people ain't telling like a lot of stand up jokes. They'll start off like that, but then it just immediately goes to the Jonah thing. Mm-hmm. Versus like it was the reverse thing back then. Like that was something way different back then. Because nobody was really doing it except for, your hand picker people. Yeah. So, yeah, now, everything nowadays is just improv to a degree. Yeah. We improv all the time.
I know that nigga Mike Epps used to do that shit too.
Shout out to Mike Epps, man.
Yeah. Mike Epps was like, he.
Not in my top 10, but he
could do like an improv on an entire comedy show.
Yeah.
And then it'll be fire.
Yeah, he's super solid, so.
Like a lot of his comedy specials that I would watch and shit, them songs used to be super funny, bruh.
Yeah.
Like even the movies that he was in.
Yeah.
He played the real dumbass character so well. You just be like,
he does it so good.
Yeah. Cause remember when he was in All About the Benjamins?
Yeah.
And he was joning on the dude?
Yeah.
Like, you got a 4 head, you got a 5 head.
Yeah. I like
you don't have dreams, you have movies.
Yeah. I like Mike Epps. Shout out to Mike Epps, man. Man, you were just beat down with like top tier comedy.
Yeah.
Growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like the shows like Comic View.
Man, Comic View.
Even comedians that weren't like known
was killing it.
Still was funny.
Yeah.
When we got older, Def Comedy Jam.
Well, Def Comedy Jam was before Comic View though.
I mean, well, the height of Def Comedy Jam though.
Okay, the height of Def Comedy Jam was more along the lines of like
because Comic View kind of, I ain't gonna say went out of business, but Comic View kind of, me personally, I blame BET, which I blame them for a lot of stuff, but I blame BET for that. But
I think the older Def Comedy Jam was actually funnier than the new one. Personally,
yeah. I mean, it depends.
Remember Bad Boys of Comedy? When that joint came out?
Yeah, see, I ain't really like that one though.
Oh man, come on, dog. That joint I was watching them joints. I was dying, bruh. Yeah, I was dying.
Yeah.
Like they had so many good comedians on that joint, bruh.
Yeah, they probably did, but it's just like I wasn't really. I don't know. Something about Puff Daddy, P Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, it's just the aura that P Diddy gives off and shit. You don't want to really support him, but
give me that comedy down, man.
I still like that like those comedy specials and shit. Like those were big for real.
Yeah,
a lot of people love those.
And we don't get a lot of like structure. I guess because now we're in with social media and all that. We just in an era where everybody's a comedian technically.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you don't really get a lot of that structured comedy anymore.
Yeah,
because even the people we mentioned from this area that does stand up comedy, they don't do a lot of it. You know, you might get a glimpse here and there. Oh, okay, so this is doing stand up comedy, cool. But then it's just like, that ain't enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
because a lot of the times you see, I've actually noticed this. They're comedy. Well, they're comedy. Well, people who do comedy, and then there's also the ones that are really about the comedy.
Right.
So you could be on social media, you could be funny in like a skit or something, but when you hit the stage and you flop, that's when you gotta realize, bro, you are best with this.
Right.
So,
or you can get a writer.
Or at least work on your craft until you're better at it.
Yeah. Because
I've seen people who can't really hold their own in both lanes.
Right.
Whereas back in the day, like it was people who were doing the stand-up comedy first and then jumping into the film.
And that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, like it's the reverse.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it was more sustainable back then because you're already getting through the hard part first.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like even though acting isn't easy, I kind of feel like it's easier than you having to entertain a crowd of people on the spot.
Yeah.
Versus like us pre-recording something and just hoping it hits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I know personally, as far as being a stand-up comedian, my delivery isn't good enough right now for me to be a stand-up comedian. I know that for a fact.
Right.
Can I get better? Absolutely.
Right.
However, am I willing to jump into stand-up comedy? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a stand up. I feel like if I put my mind to it, I could thrive in that lane, but it's not something I would want to pursue. Because for me, like even back in the day, a lot of people did the stand up comedy to get to like the movies and shit. Nowadays, you can kind of just skip that process and get straight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You just do skits and stuff, and then hopefully you can get to the movies. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I'd rather do it that way versus like. Plus, I don't think people value stand up comedy the same.
That's true.
Like, I remember like when I was in middle school, and they would say something. I don't even think it was the King of the I don't think it was They was together doing the Kings of Comedy tour, but they still was doing like one-offs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, I think it was Cedric the Entertainer. He was coming to DC, and my mom and them had went, but I was too young, so I couldn't go. Or I think I could have went with them, but because of the type of jokes he was telling, it would, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up staying home or whatever. But yeah, it's like that kind of stuff sold out in like one day. You know what I mean? Nowadays, I feel like it would have to be somebody like him already established. Like, ain't nobody in their prime or up and coming gonna sell out like a venue.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, yeah, comedy is just nowadays anything is just whatever at this point.
Yeah, we kind of like oversaturated the market
With everything, not even just comedy, but everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see people becoming cooks or chefs, which is good, but people aren't becoming like official chefs.
Yeah,
so they can own their own restaurants or they can run a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing just the little thing where I'm gonna just cook out my kitchen and sell plates.
Yeah,
And then everybody's doing it.
yeah.
You know, so
true.
yeah, soon as somebody sees somebody doing something, we got to do it too, which messes up the support system. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot, but that's a different conversation for another day.
Yeah, I get that, because there are a lot of people who get famous off of somewhat copying someone else's like platform.
Yeah,
The TikTok prime example.
yeah,
So you have a whole bunch of people doing like the same voiceover consistently,
mm-hmm.
but it's just one person that does a little bit more in it, or is much more appealing to the public eye that gets the credit for it.
Or it's because what I see now on social media is people with the bigger platforms
Yeah, that too.
tend to go and take. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which is more, like I said, more appealing.
Yeah, so it could be somebody with like a couple hundred followers putting out this skit, and then somebody come through with like 100,000,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna get the credit. And how social media is shaping up now is like, even if that person would shout the other person out, it's not gonna matter, because now a lot goes into like, if a person's popular, that's who people gonna go to regardless.
Yep.
Whether he's stealing, doing whatever. Drake, prime example.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just, everything's just off the rails right now.
It is, bro.
Yeah.
Like that, the whole comedy thing is like, it's so iffy nowadays,
Yeah.
because you have so many different avenues that you can choose from, but people just want to jump on the wave instead of actually doing something different.
Right. Yeah. And even now in this area, I see stuff like, you know, we got up and coming rappers that got nice platforms, and then now they're doing comedy skits,
Yeah.
and it's like, I feel like you could just put somebody on and have them rise up versus now you trying to do comedy. You're rapping about shooting people, robbing people, and now you're doing comedy skits with it. Like, that don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you would rather do that instead of just like putting somebody else on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just a lot that goes into it. But as far as like the iconic comedians go, that's pretty much like the gloss over of them, and then you have the, like I was saying earlier, the Keenan and Kels.
Just the goats, bruh.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon's goats. I don't care. You can fight me. They're the goats of Nickelodeon, bruh.
Yeah, so they definitely, all that was the original. All that is just,
You can't top it.
yeah,
They've been trying to do that since the 90s, and they haven't.
yeah. I feel like in order to top it, they know the formula that they have to do, but because of ego and pride, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the television shows that you get from Nickelodeon now, all that, all the sitcom stuff, that's where it's from.
Yeah,
It's
like
all
it's the same. It's the same formula, mainly because it's the same guy that just keeps using the formula over and over.
yeah. Even though like now he's not there anymore, but
Yeah, he's been gone these last couple of years because he is out of control, very much out of control.
yeah, you don't want to put everything out there and shit. You just want.
Not well. If we put everything out there as the way he did wrong, I feel like we got to be balanced and give out everything that he did right. Too.
Okay, I mean we're gonna give him credit for certain things. Yes.
Okay, so let's give him the credit first, and then executive producer / writer Dan Schneider,
Yeah.
who has brought a bunch of classic, at least by Nickelodeon standards, a bunch of classic shows, which a lot of people might, going as far back to all that,
Mm-hmm.
and then bringing Keenan and Kel, the Amanda Bynes Show, Drake and Josh, iCarly,
Mm-hmm. What was it? Victorious.
Sam and Cat, which was a spinoff of iCarly and Victorious together. I'd be forgetting that superhero show. I didn't watch it too much.
I stopped watching after Drake and Josh. I don't know.
And then there's another show that Kel stars in as well.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Well,
Yeah,
I've heard of it, just don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the name either. But he's behind all of those. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he's reworked the formula multiple times as far as like pairing two people together. One, they're both stupid, but one has a little bit more common sense than the other person, and the other person's just a complete idiot.
Yeah, and
it's the SpongeBob and Patrick mechanism essentially. Nickelodeon's wearing this formula out, by the way.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are.
But if everything is going to hit, if people going to keep, I start off with all that where we just got a big cast of idiots. And we're interchanging. And shout out to all of them because there's some iconic people in there. Nick Cannon.
Yeah, even before Nick Cannon, it was Kanan, Kel, Josh Server, Lord Beth Denberg.
Danny Tamborelli.
Yeah, man, Danny Tamborelli came on. I think it was like the second season when he came along.
Yeah, or late first season.
Yeah, something like that.
Carrot Top.
Yeah. And then the females, I can't remember their names and shit, but they were. Yeah.
Alyssa something? I don't know.
I can't remember, but I know that, well, besides Lori Beth Denberg, like the other two I actually were funny though.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, they were hilarious.
Yeah. One of the black girls used to do the jump with Keenan.
Yep.
Cooking with
Randy and Mandy.
Yeah.
Everything had chocolate in it and shit. Yeah. Gotta make this pizza, but one thing it needs chocolate. I was like, son, chill out, bruh.
Man.
Chill out. That shit had me dying. Like, it was so many iconic episodes that they had. Even skit wise, like, there's so much like gold in it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You have Super Dude, who his weakness is milk.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. His weakness is milk.
Hey, one random fact that I didn't even know is that they actually had input on like a lot of the skits.
Yeah.
So as 9 and 10, 11-year-olds, they're helping out with that type of stuff as well.
Yeah, which is why Kanan like kind of evolved into what he is today and shit.
Yeah, it's always been him. You know what I'm saying?
Kanan and Kale, all
Yeah.
them niggas and shit.
So it's just interesting, like when you learn the tad bits about everything, and then time goes past, and then because we got to go over the whole Dan Schneider, the bad side.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, coming into those Victorious and iCarly years, he was doing some very questionable things.
Yeah. let's not even say questionable, nigga. That's just horrible.
Some very out of control things. So, iCarly wise, I didn't even know like they was forcing Sam to do like to portray a certain character that had a condition that she was actually battling in real life. So, on the show, her character is obsessed with food. Always got to eat. Like every time she pop up, she always got to eat something. Eat. And in real life, she was battling like a eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And when they found out about it, he thought it was a great idea to incorporate that into like her character, which is kind of heartless to me. Not even kind of, but that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like not yo, we gonna send you to go get some help, or we gonna take some time, or we gonna write you out from the show for a little bit, go get help, come back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they incorporated your problem into your character, so you can still show up and work. And if that's not out of control, Slim, that's out of control.
Yeah, and he also got caught up with the whole instances with him being quote unquote sexually active with children.
Yeah, that was on the Victoria side of things.
Yeah.
So the last thing from iCarly before we leave that was also that during that run, the character that plays Sam, I forget her real name, her mother died in real life. And he was pressuring her to not take time off to grieve her mother's death, which is why she quit acting completely. And like once that show finished up, she like gave up acting like altogether. Even when they started the reboot of iCarly recently, she's nowhere in sight. They mention her a lot on the show, but then again, Dan Schneider's not doing the show either. It's somebody else doing it now. But they mention her a lot on the show, but she's nowhere to be like in sight. So she said that them times were so traumatizing, she never wants to set foot on like anybody's set or anything ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So then it brings us to like, and it's crazy because it's supposed to be about comedy, but here we are.
I mean, we got to jump into. It's a dark side of this shit too.
It is, and there's plenty of like. So you go to the Victoria side of things, and you know what? I hate cliches, and you hear me say this all the time. I hate cliches, but one of them that might be more accurate than all of them is when they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when it came to this show, this nigga had it all. I could break it down for you. I used to watch the show with my baby mother and shit. This nigga had it all. The star of the show was Victoria Justice. She came into this show on borrowed time because everybody knew she was about to blow up as a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
Co-starred by Ariana Grande. She came into this show on borrowed time because everybody knew she was going to blow up as a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
Another co-star, Elizabeth Gillies. Now she didn't blow up as like a super pop star, but everybody thought she was. So it's like 7 main characters on this show, and 3 of them they knew it might not have lasted long because they was going to blow up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of milking this like classic show in the making that you got with these button superstars, because once they blow up, then you're gonna get a bajillion views because people gonna be like, oh, this them before they blew up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the show's going, and they're saying like he's like over sexualizing Ariana Grande, which when you go back and look, he is. Got her saying like questionable things, and as when you're young, you don't catch it, but when you're older, you learn about double entendres and wordplay and stuff like that. You're like, oh, okay, like this is interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, not really for kids. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, yeah. And then apparently he has like this foot fetish, which he was having them like expose their feet when they're taking breaks from shooting the show, have them walking around barefooted and just out of control. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, bro. That's why I be telling niggas and shit. Are you sure you want your child to be in show business?
yeah, because you never know, like, offset what they got your kid doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
But some parents actually sell their children into that shit just because they want the fame.
yeah, and obviously the show lasted, I think, 3 seasons. It's 4 seasons technically, but they split the last season in half. So, aside from Ariana Grande and Victoria Justice signing deals, so they was going to be leaving the show anyway. It's her show, so you can't have it without her anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So aside from them signing deals, they agreed to like want to do the show part-time-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because they had the other demands where Cuz couldn't be on set at all, he could call a shot still, but he just had to do it like over the phone, or you know what I'm saying? Like they just didn't want him around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But Nickelodeon wouldn't agree to that, so they ended up canceling the show.
Yeah, it makes you actually think about
It does.
Nickelodeon and shit. Like,
Yeah.
just because he was such an asset, they were willing to overlook every single thing that he was doing wrong.
Right. All up into that, no matter how many complaints it was.
Yeah.
Like,
Amanda Bynes had complaints about it.
right. Like how many classic shows like came to a screeching halt. Because if you're producing like classic shows, they could last like for years if you wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you got 3 superstars in the making on one show, there's no way your show only lasts 2 years.
Yeah, they like a lot of their great shows, they last 3 seasons max.
Cause something always happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something always happened, and I want to say maybe Keenan and Kel was the only one where I think the problem was within them for the show to end.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was always something like else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just wild.
Yeah, definitely wild, bro.
Yeah, like if it was me, it's like there's no way. They about to leave and be stars anyway. There's no way we're not getting at least 3-4 years out of this.
Yeah, bro.
And they still wanted to do it after they became who they were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that goes to show like the dedication to the show itself. But then you gotta look at the fact that the dude is doing all this egregious shit.
Yeah.
And then
that was the deal breaker, because they wanted him off the set, but Nickelodeon didn't want that.
Yeah.
Until they did the Sam and Cat spinoff.
Yeah, we give Nickelodeon a lot of props for shit, but we never give them the flack that they deserve.
Yeah,
that is some flack that they deserve.
They deserve a lot of flack because they should have. They did it now a few years ago, finally, but they should have been did that like 10 years ago.
Probably longer than that.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, the Amanda Bynes thing, like it deserves a looking into.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how severe the situation is, all right, bro, this your first offense, so cool. not cool, but like, all right, go do the program. You know how they would do a black person. You know what I'm saying?
No, how they do a black person? Like they
And
wouldn't have
yeah.
they wouldn't have a career at all.
Next episode when it came on, he'd have got killed. You know what I'm saying? Robbed, killed, either moved away, or you know what I'm saying? He ran away from home, ain't never been seen again. You know, but
Same thing they did the daughter on fucking Family Matters and shit.
yeah, stuff like that. So, and that's a comedy. That's a character we didn't bring up, Urkel.
Oh yeah, that too.
It's a comedy. Yeah. I guess because those are more like sitcoms.
But still,
and because it's certain shows like Smart Guy.
Yeah, it's
like,
comedic elements to all of that, which is
T and Tamura.
Yeah, T and
where
Tamura.
they just got a comedy character like Roger.
Yeah, go home, Roger.
Yeah,
man.
So
so this would be the perfect branching out point.
Right.
So realistically, Urkel, perfection. This man, like, Family Matters would not have been what it was if it wasn't for him.
Heck no.
I don't care what anybody says.
He's the show.
He is.
A lot of feel good moments, but you need those comedic. They go hand in hand with them type of shows.
Yeah, because you get a lot of how do you put it? You get a lot of like aura coming from Urkel as far as his comedic talents for just being smart and being a nerd. Like he wasn't trying to be funny. He just was. Which is, I think, was like the best part. Like when he's not trying to be funny, but really he just is.
Yeah.
He's not doing dumb stuff. He's trying to do smart stuff with dumb outcomes.
Right.
So realistically, it's just like that was genius writing for that to come about.
Yeah.
And then his love interest with Laura.
Right.
That in general, like, that gives him a reason to stick around.
Yeah.
Because of his love interest being Laura. And their interactions together are great.
Yeah. And it opened the door for him to be like, of course he did the little step on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it opened the door for him to be like even kill, because he could be the geeky Urkel, or he was the smooth Stefan. You know what I'm saying?
Which was just him.
Right, the regular him. Yeah. Like, which is cool, by the way. Like, I was not necessarily nowadays, but back then I was like a big fan of like a person doing multiple characters.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like I like that. Like the whole Martin thing with brother man from the fifth floor,
like,
where he put up 3 fingers. And
brother man from the fifth floor was hilarious.
Yeah.
Always coming. Hey, what's up, Marty Ma? What's up, man?
Yeah.
Like, always coming through the window.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And speaking of that, we forgot to mention honorable mention, at least for me. I don't know, he might be in your top something. Jamie Foxx. Yeah,
Jamie Foxx, hilarious. This man is so multifaceted. It's real.
Yeah,
that shit is just ridiculous.
That's he's a prime example of why people shouldn't just hold a person to one lane.
Definitely,
he's
bro.
a prime example of like he can do any and almost everything.
Man, this man has been a top tier actor for years.
Yeah,
he can sing his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as far as his range is concerned, you can never doubt his range.
Yeah, because like he's like one of the few. Remember how we were saying like he's a comedian, because he did a bunch of stand-ups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's a comedian. So when you see comedians in serious roles, like, you're just thinking like, oh, you're already bracing to laugh.
Yep.
But he was like one of the rare ones where it was like, what was that, Law Abiding Citizen?
Man, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's an excellent job. And it's been a few since then, but that was the first jump where it was just like, yo, yeah, he's got like, all right, yeah. You know
I think his first branch out role for me, I think it had to have been, well, I didn't say branch out, but the one where I noticed him the most was in Ray.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was good, too. That was good. But it still had, like, for me, that one still had, like, a comedic feel, so to speak. Because it's like, to me, even though it ain't technically a comedy, it's just like you playing a blind person and then, you know, forgive me, but doing the mannerisms of a blind person, and then me just going through life like, knowing we didn't use that as Jones. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching the movie like, yeah, I remember finding a nigga up and calling him Ray, and you know what I'm saying? Like it just, that was one of those movies. Like that's definitely one. But to me, Law Abiding Citizen was just that joint where it's just like, yo, this nigga's wilding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And then obviously it's been Jones since then. Like, I don't think he does comedy no more.
Yeah.
The only time he's funny is just like when he's randomly talking and, you know, he's just funny in general. You know what I'm saying?
He is a really naturally funny dude, which makes it even better. Like, you can get comedy from him, but he doesn't even have to write it down. He just does it. He's just naturally funny. And it's a lot of people that are like that, but it's just like he gets so much credit for it because he has other lanes that he can jump into.
Yeah.
And I think Eddie Murphy has that same type of feel when he does like serious roles, because he's done serious roles before, and you see him as like a comedy dude, but just like he can do the series but still maintain somewhat of a funny presence.
Yeah. Shout out to Eddie Murphy, man. Murphy, Griffin.
Yeah, Eddie Griffin is another one of those. It's like
the old school Red Fox and
yep.
What's the other cousin?
Richard Pryor?
Yeah, Richard Pryor. Yeah, I gotta forget his name. Yeah, Richard Pryor.
Man, bro, you forget Richard Pryor?
I had him. All I come up was a dark skinned nigga with the bush and shit. So I had him in my mind. I just couldn't, you know.
Hell, speaking of all of them, Harlem Nights, bro.
Yeah.
Harlem Nights, bro.
Classic.
That movie is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time.
Yeah.
Hands down, bro.
Love the Harlem Nights.
Hands down.
Harlem Nights, Coming to America. The first one, that is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I don't know about this foolery nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
See, y'all can't see Mark, but Mark showed up, and this man, like, he over here laughing too. He already know how funny that movie is.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
there's like subtle comedy moments that just catapulted an entire scene.
Facts.
See, I know you specifically. You have to remember this scene.
I remember Harlem Nights.
Yeah,
I remember Harlem Nights. Yeah.
So when they were fighting in the back, him and Delarice, bruh, when he hit her with the garbage can lid.
Oh yeah.
And he like, crazy bitch. And he tried to shoot off her pinky, so what he actually did.
Yeah. Hey, you know, now that you bring up that movie, you know what I feel like another problem is nowadays? It's not a plethora of comedians. It's just like everything is just Kevin Hart or who's another comedian? Because I feel like nowadays a lot of the comedians I see is just people from around here. Honestly, to tell you the truth. Like, it ain't like Dave Chappelle active.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle. Like, he's not like super active.
You might catch a comedy special on Netflix or something here.
Or he'll do one and then he'll release it on his IG.
Yeah, or he'll might host Saturday Night Live or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll pop out. But I feel like there's no plethora. Like, you know, Mike Epps does stuff here and there. He got something coming out. Or
he actually did something like him.
Meet the Blacks too.
Yeah, Meet the Blacks too is
yeah. But it's like, as far as like when it comes to mainstream, it feels like everything is just like Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm. Which is another reason why a lot of people like tend to fall off of the Kevin Hart little train, is because he they oversaturate the market with him.
Right.
So people get so tired of seeing him.
Yeah. You just want something different and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I feel like it ain't no. You got to think, everybody that we talked about, that was like the same era.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't the same era, it's like literally one era leading into another. You know what I'm saying?
And then they actually do the same thing with The Rock. The Rock is in like everything.
Yeah.
So you get tired of seeing him.
Right.
It's like every action movie you got to put The Rock in it. Why the hell was The Rock and Kevin Hart in Jumanji? Why the fuck was that the case?
Right. Yeah. And they already do like a plethora of other movies together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Central Intelligence, and then Central Intelligence 2, and then I'm about to say Ride Along, but that's Ice Cube and shit.
Yeah, Ice Cube, like that's another nigga. Like
technically not a comedian, but it is funny.
That's a funny motherfucker,
yeah,
bro.
It is super funny. Because I was gonna say the same thing about Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Like not a comedian, but yeah,
He's hilarious because of how serious he is.
yeah, the delivery. So
Mhm.
yeah, like because Denzel isn't a comedian either, but he has like moments where he's just like, oh, this nigga's funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, oh, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, my favorite. That's my favorite one. But yeah, it's like it just it just yeah.
I remember Samuel Jackson got his big role in, his first role when he was playing in Coming to America.
Yeah.
As the dude who was robbing the wagon. Well, not the wagon, but
The wagon.
yeah, that's over the Dave Chappelle and shit.
Yeah, that
the
was
McDowell's, nigga.
That don't funny.
Yeah, nigga, you just jump back to the.
That nigga said, man, all right. What was their name in the jump? Was it his real name?
What was it?
Calvin.
Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin got a job.
Hey, yo, Darnell Rollins was singing a song to me in the wild.
Yeah, that was when they at first when he first got the job, they was all supportive and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then after a while, like they start carrying him. Hey, what's up, fry guy? Yeah, punk bitch. Hey, Calvin, it's a thin line between fries and shit.
I need to stop smoking this shit here, boy. Oh, bruh. Oh, man. Like, everything just come full circle because, like, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, he had that shit, you know.
Yo, you can quote.
And even if you wasn't fucking with Dave Chappelle, that still was a time where it was like Cat Williams was doing his thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like two completely different styles. Like this, and then it was just like you said earlier, Bruce. Like it was plenty of people just doing shit.
Yeah, because Bruce was he was headlining in Comic View.
Right. It's just like what your preference was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
and
bro.
then like I said, you know, people like like my mom and others, they like George Lopez.
Let's not talk about George Lopez.
I don't get it, but
I remember people who used to love like Carlos Mencia.
What was that?
You don't remember Carlos Mencia?
Nah.
He actually had his own show, like Amanda Mencia on Comedy Central and shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't like him personally. My favorite, like my favorite Latin comedian has to be Gabriel Iglesias. I love Gabriel.
Oh yeah, okay.
I love Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, he's been around. His due diligence.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people like him. I'm not a big fan, but he's funnier than George Lopez.
Yeah, bro. I give him that. Like he's definitely funnier than George Lopez in my eyes. I don't know how other people are, but you know the older like Spanish people and shit, they're like, oh, I love George Lopez. It's like, nah, nigga,
I
I'm
tried.
cool.
I sat down. I said, let me sit through and just, you know what? No matter what, I'm gonna watch 4 straight episodes. You know, because you know if you watch one, you might just watch the bad joke. You know what I'm saying? The joke where they ain't trying to be funny for real. They just trying to fill up the season or something. I'm gonna watch 4 straight episodes. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I'm gonna just see. And it's like out of 4 straight episodes, I might have chuckled like once. And it wasn't even him. It was like his kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kid did something and shit. But I'm like, I don't know. So as far as comedy goes, what do you feel about, you know, since we've been heavily mainstream and semi-mainstream, what about the DMV, man, the area?
Like, what do you mean by comedy in general?
Like as far as like, you know, you got the comedians like the Goofies or McCann.
Love McCann.
I love McCann too. Wild with that cocaine.
Yeah, he definitely wild as fuck.
Yeah, you know, you got Pap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say old school, but you know they not active at all. But the Ventura Boys, I remember them.
Bruh, I miss them.
Yeah, I miss them too.
They
classic.
Bruh, that carry-out skit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they had a whole commercial for carry like that had me dying, bruh. That first video that I saw of them, that is the first video that I'd actually seen from them. Yeah. And when I tell you, like that shit was amazing, bruh. Like, and they incorporated the area so well. It wasn't just we're is a DC thing, or it's a Maryland thing, or it's like a small portion of Virginia thing. No, it's you gonna catch the shit that we're normally accustomed to.
Right.
In that they did the whole ski boat scene, little Joe. That one, bruh.
I wonder what happened, because it's like you know, it's a difference between like just stop doing the content, but it's like they just haven't been active in like 3 years. Like I haven't even posted nothing in like 3 years.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like niggas ain't go off to have no solo career. I know ain't like they just came to an agreement. All right, we all just gonna quit this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, bro.
We not gonna do social media no. Like I haven't seen none of them since. You know what I'm saying? My favorite joint was the little. I'll tell you all the time, the little 1,000 Ways to Die joint
in the DMV.
Yeah, but it was the Helly Hansen
joint.
Yeah, he was the weather was breaking, but because he had a Helly Hansen, he was pressed to show it off. So he's like, damn, bro, it's like 95 degrees. You sure you want to wear that joint? He said, yeah, man, it's a little breeze outside. I'm good. The nigga start walking down the street. The nigga start sweating. He was like, damn, bro, you sure you don't want to take off your father's jacket? Like, he said, nah, I'm a little chilly to tell you the truth. Like, oh, all right. Next thing you know, he started passing out. But he was like, it looked like he was dancing. His man thought he was beating his feet.
He's like, he ain't fucking him up.
Right, he's like, he's fucking him up. He's fucking him up. Yeah, that nigga passed out and died. Your man was like, hey, you good? You good? Then went in his pocket and took his money and then ran off. I was like, yeah, these niggas is cold foods, young. Like,
yo, that shit had me dying, bro.
Yeah.
It's so much that they were doing right
yeah.
in comedy.
Yeah.
Especially for it to be just an area-wide thing.
Yeah.
And to incorporate it so well.
Right. And before it was like the wave, so it probably was harder to like catch on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, shout out to them, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just hit like a mental wall, or
maybe just had a falling out or something, like with the industry and just how the shit was working out.
Right.
Because maybe they ran into the gatekeepers and was like, you know what, now I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, which is a very, it's a very interesting thing, because I guess it depends on mindset. So I don't know how you feel about that, but as far as like gatekeepers go, I kind of got a split mindset on it. Because, by human nature, you probably feel like that. Not you, but,
yeah.
In general, a person feels like, damn, you know what? It ain't even worth this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the other side where it's just like, man, fuck these niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's not going to stop me from working.
Right.
First and foremost. Like, I'm going to keep pushing regardless of who's in front of me or not.
Right.
So, realistically, that wouldn't stop me. But, not everybody feels the same way. And
which is true.
Realistically, I mean, that could have been the case for them, or maybe they just had a falling out with each other. Hopefully that wasn't the case, because they seemed like they meshed really well.
Yeah, it might have been a falling out, because I'm trying to think. Nobody's been active in years, so it had to have been like multiple things happening at one time. So maybe a falling out and the gatekeeper. It had to have been like a perfect storm, so to speak, or somebody died or something that we just didn't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that could have been the case as well. So.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It was so many things that they, like I said, there's so many things that they did right. Because I remember there's one skit that they did. There's like guessing little Young Thug lyrics.
Oh, yeah, okay.
When he was in the car and he was guessing the shit, and then they had like the little points and shit, like if he was getting the shit right. Yo, that shit had me dying. I actually have it still saved on my Facebook, Lil Jones. Yeah. That's like the first video I ever saved on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I go back to their Instagram page right here and there just to go watch that Helly Hansen joint. But yeah, shout out to them, man. Like that's the kind of impact like we look to leave on people.
Mm-hmm.
People go, oh, I remember he did this joint 3 years ago. Let me go watch that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
It's like, oh, you remember when the niggas he stole your fruit snacks and shit?
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, just stuff like that, bro. Like, if you can just leave a lasting impact or a lasting impression on people with the stuff that you do, that makes all the difference. Because at least you feel as though somebody is at least paying attention and they feel strongly about the stuff that you're doing.
Facts.
So I definitely respect the people who are willing to take the journey with us,
Right.
because those are the people you actually want to keep around, because they were fucking with you before you jumped up.
Right.
So personally, I want to say thank you to those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that. Like, thank you to them, because they, like, y'all the real ones and shit. They say, just like how Kevin Durant was like, you the real MVP.
Mm-hmm. Crying.
Yeah,
The
man.
real MVP.
Shut up.
Oh, that's how you did it.
Hey, yo, bro. Can we talk about like how good that meme was?
Yeah, classic. Classic. I mean, when it comes to Black Twitter, there's just anything could happen. A good thing could happen, and you'll be a meme. A sad thing could happen, and you'll be a meme.
Yeah,
And,
we were just talking about it the other day with
yeah,
with Kobe dying, and then they made memes like a day after.
yeah. But it was all in good taste. Though.
It was.
That's like the respect that he had. It's just like you can get the positive memes. You got all the heaven memes, like you said, crossing Jesus up, or Jesus crossing you up. Like,
Or you challenging the Angels to a game of basketball.
yeah,
Like the whole bunch of basketball players up at the gates and shit, like who the best basketball player here? And
yeah.
Kobe just look up and shit.
Look up. Or the done with the angel was like, I could beat everybody up here 1-on-1, and it was him looking up. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's in good taste. We'll take that.
Yeah, I love that type of comedy and shit. Like, if you can give it a positive feel
Yeah.
and then still manage to make it hilarious, even in a darker situation,
Yeah.
that's the type of comedy that a lot of people are lacking nowadays and shit, because they so scared of cancel culture and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's why I love niggas like Long Beach Griffey.
Okay.
Bruh, this man is uncancelable, even though that's not a word, but still.
Definitely isn't. Plus, I feel like I don't. You have to be on a certain level to be, not be able to be canceled. I don't know if he's on that level.
Yeah,
I wouldn't care about
he's
that.
crossed the threshold so many times, it's not even funny, bro. Like, he's talked about everybody. It doesn't matter. Like, the nigga has gone in on LGBTQ, whatever in the world, other numbers and letters go in there. I can't remember.
Right.
But he went in on them, went in on like hardcore feminists, government. Didn't matter what topic it was, he make fun of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool though. That's not gonna get you canceled. You have to do something. You have to do something terrible in real life to get
And
canceled.
you'd be surprised at how bad cancel culture has gotten,
No, I mean,
especially for comedians, which is another reason why it's so like undervalued nowadays. Because it's just like people who do comedy, they got to tiptoe.
Yeah, kinda. But I still feel like you have to do something bad in real life first, and then that's when people bring all that other stuff into play. I feel like he's alright. I feel like probably not even enough people know about him to want to cancel him.
I mean, they trying to cancel Cater to You by Destiny's Child. Come on, bro.
But like I said, you gotta be on a certain level. Which is that's just the feminist side of cancel. It has to be the whole. You can't cancel nobody without the rest of the cancel culture. Like if the feminist side of them, that's not gonna. You see it still around. They need help, which they gotta get to their heads eventually. But yeah, you need the whole cancel culture to cancel somebody. Because me personally, I feel like I'm a part of cancel culture. I can cancel people, except for R. Kelly. But
I mean, what do you mean by cancel culture? Like, what exactly are you trying to cancel?
no, it's just that it's a community of people banding together that agrees upon not taking a person or a thing serious anymore. Like technically, if you decided to, you could be a part of it. It's not. It's not just an official like club. It's just something like.
I mean, technically, I can't be a part of something that is just like I don't really.
No, it's like what you do. Like say like when R. Kelly did what he did, and everybody's like, okay, let everybody stop listening to R. Kelly. That's the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just R. Kelly's been canceled. You know what I'm saying? But then it's just like.
I mean, that I can agree with in certain portions.
Right.
Because like I don't watch Netflix no more.
Right.
Stop watching that shit.
Yeah, just like it's a lot of people that just stop watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Same thing with Amazon. Don't shop on Amazon.
Yeah. So whoever, I don't think Amazon I don't think they can be canceled. But Netflix to a certain degree probably can't either, but they came close. People probably scared Netflix. I give you that, because that is too many other things to go put your money towards. Especially all this streaming shit out here now. This shit ridiculous now, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, most definitely. But shit happens.
It does.
And chances are with the whole cancel culture shit, like, I personally don't care about what I put out
Okay.
because realistically, I'm gonna get my point across regardless.
Okay.
And how I look at it is, I came up in the era where you had to push the envelope regardless of what you were trying to put out in order for you to convey a message the proper way. I mean, you can still do things in good taste.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like I'm just going to completely just disrespect niggas just off the sake of doing so. But if it's going to convey a message that's going to be worthwhile in a comedic aspect as well as a dramatic aspect, I'm not going to use any cut cards, because I've had people say, oh, I would support this if only you dumbed it down here and it wasn't as bad. Nah, I don't care how you feel about that.
Right.
Just because a video has like guns in it, you don't support it. Cool, I don't need you. Or just because we were making a light joke about a certain issue that you didn't agree with.
Right.
I didn't need you. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So, like, I think I'm past the point of caring about cancel culture or anything like that, because, like I said, it's still things out here that need to be said regardless of how you look at it.
Right.
And if I'm forcing myself to be limited because I'm trying to appease you, then we have ourselves a problem. And that's where comedy just needs to move forward in, because like people are so scared of being canceled, or they're so scared of the backlash that may come with saying a certain thing. It's like we're scared to even open our mouths now.
Facts.
Whereas me, I don't care. If you don't like it, don't listen. It's simple as that. It's like, when people say on like Facebook and say like, if you don't like this post, scroll past.
Right.
Simple. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
We didn't have to go through the whole motion of, well, I have a problem with this, so I'm going to say something about it. Even though they could have easily just said, they could have scrolled up. Scroll. That could have been you saying something. Scroll up.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. Like, people just blow things out of proportion. But as far as comedy thing goes, I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm willing to push a few envelopes if you are.
Yeah, I mean, me, I kind of never really gave a fuck if that, I've tried to get away from the combative mindset over the last handful of years, but I feel like it's instilled in you. You know what I mean? And you pick and choose your battles. I feel like that would be a battle that I would pick and choose. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to me. Like I said earlier, when it comes to like all like the political side of things, like dealing with the gatekeepers and stuff like that, I feel like this area in general just needs a facelift. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
If we get into a position where we can be the driving force for that, then of course I'm with it.
All right, then. That's what I'm talking about. We go ahead do the Power Rangers Lord's morphin' time later.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we've reached the end of the road for today. So this has been another Breaking the Narrative podcast, BTN for short. I'm Tony.
I'm Teddy.
And we out here.